going to be leaving the United States and we're going to be flying all the way over to India. That's right, the land of spices. And we're going to be making an Indian milk cake. Now I have a lot of Indian friends and I'm sure they're going to love this recipe. It's easy, it's delicious, and anybody can make it. I've made it simple for you and I've made it gluten-free. So come on. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to use one of these 15-ounce containers of ricotta cheese. Okay. Got the lid. I've already taken off the plastic, and we're just going to dump this into a bowl. Use the whole thing. Kind of blend it up here just a little bit and kind of break it up. Okay. Next, we're going to add a ½ cup of sugar. There we go. We're going to add about a ½ teaspoon of cinnamon and about an eighth to a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle it in there now. Okay, and we'll just add a little bit of the cinnamon. Not much. The original Indian milk cake recipe calls for cardamom, but my store didn't carry that here. You have to go to an Indian store to find that, and we don't have one in our area. So that's something I'm going to have to order online. Now, you just want to take and kind of blend that together. There's no eggs in this. Now, what I'm also going to add is just a little bit of this Carnation brand, Eagle brand milk. Excuse me, it's Borden brand. Just a little bit, not much. About 2 teaspoons. Because I like the flavor. You can use honey if you like as well. We just don't want to change the consistency of this too much. Now we're also going to add about a quarter of a cup of sweet potato flour, about an eighth of a cup of sweet rice flour, and about a quarter of a teaspoon to a ½ teaspoon of xanthan gum. And you can use guar gum as well. The original Indian recipe for this called for semolina flour, and you can get it coarse or fine. So that's fine if you use that flour. But we're going gluten-free here, so we chose to use the sweet rice flour. You can use a regular rice flour, any flour that's been ground and that's gluten-free. Be sure and add your xanthan gum or guar gum to that as well. Now to this, we're also going to add a tablespoon of cranberries that are flavored with cherry, a tablespoon of the cranberries that are flavored with blueberry, and some cranberries that are flavored with pomegranate. And again, that's 1 tablespoon each. Now I've added my dry fruits, and I've also added a tablespoon of chopped cashews, and you can also use chopped pistachios as well. I've also added a tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm just going to blend this together until it's smooth. You know, I've got this all blended nice and smooth. You can see the consistency here. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to spray a 6x6 square glass pan with a little bit of this butter flavored Crisco here. Make sure that it's nice and, I don't want to over grease it, but here we go. And then we're going to transfer this into the glass pan. Okay, we're just going to smooth this in the pan. Make it nice and flat. Make sure it meets all the corners and all the edges. Now we're just going to slip this into a 445-degree oven in the middle rack. You don't want it near the top. And we're going to bake this for 30 minutes. Again, that's 445 for 30 minutes. Now if your oven is not convection, then you want to go ahead and bake it at 450 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. Okay, and once our Indian milk cake is done, we can see here the sides are a little brown. It's firm in the center to touch. Oh, that smells heavenly. You can really smell the dried fruit in that. Okay, you can see it's firm. So we're just going to let this cool in the pan on the baker's rack for about 10 minutes. Okay, now I just had to run a knife around the edges here. And now I'm just going to invert this on to a plate. Okay, I've just inverted my Indian milk bread onto a plate. And I know I'm going against the rules here, but I'm just going to take some powdered sugar and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on the top. Now, I know that's not the original Indian milk bread. And by the way, if you don't have ricotta cheese, you can use paneer. Paneer is the Indian version of farmer's cheese or ricotta style cheese. And there you have it. Now all you gotta do is take a bite. Okay, I've just cut this up in a couple of squares here. And you can serve this cold. So you can go ahead and let this finish cooling and put this in the refrigerator and serve it chilled. I, however, like mine warm. And you can put this in the freezer or the refrigerator. It'll store several days. And you can just warm it up for about 10 seconds in the microwave. Because like I said, I like mine warm. So there's a big old cranberry there. So I'm going to give this a bite and we're going to see if you can see the texture here on this. It's like a little milk cake. I guess that's why they call it milk cake. Okay, no more jokes. I'm going to take a bite of this. You know, that is really, really good. It's not too sweet. As you can see, it's full of the cranberries, and you can put raisins in this as well. And that is absolutely delicious. Those cranberries just burst in your mouth. Go ahead. We're going to give one to John here. This is Indian milk cake. This is very popular sweet in India.
That's very good.
It's not too sweet, and you can taste the cranberries and the flavors in there, can't you?
Yeah, sure.
A little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. What do you think? What's it remind you of? It reminds me of something I've had before, but I don't know.
It's almost like bread pudding.
Yeah, it's like a bread pudding, isn't it? And here we've cut the Indian milk cake into squares, smaller servings. This is Chef Janie Pendleton for Gluten-Free Foods. Enjoy.